chase Lehigh with the blue futon out of the box or out of the wall, you exactly know what is coming. Underworld 5, Blood War. Have I seen this one? I literally just watched it. Let me see if this war of blood is worth gushing your blood over. So Underworld Blood War, what's it about? It's a very simple premise, actually. This is X amount of years after the fourth one, and now the final battle of the vampires and Lycan. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out. So, did I like this movie? I thought it was an okay movie. If I'm rating the movies from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 1 is going to be number 1, the first one. Number 2 is actually going to be the third one, Rise of the Lycan. Number 3 is going to be number 2, Evolution. Number 4, I think I'm going to go with Awakening. And number 5, I'm going to go with Blood Wars. Why do I say that? I had more fun with Awakening, with the action set pieces and the non-stop craziness. With the fifth one, however, there is more lore to it where they try to add this northern vampire, hideout, if you want to put it that way, that all have blonde hair, because I'm guessing they're in the north, so they all have blonde hair. So let's give it that way. And now with Kate Beckinsale having mixed blonde and brown hair, there must be something in that water that makes that happen. But with this movie, I will give the negatives first. I think the action, unfortunately with this one, is a little generic, as well as the Lycan are all CGI, unless I completely missed it. But to me, that's a huge fault when you don't have a werewolf movie with at least some prosthetics to it. This one has 0 prosthetics, and it seems like it's all CGI, and I think that's a little bit of a bummer. Some of the style of editing in this movie, too, like these fast cuts and weird slow-mo things, I think it's kind of weird how they do it, as well as the ending. It feels like they don't know where to take this franchise or how to end it. At least with the Resident Evil one, they kind of had a trajectory, and they finally realized, okay, we are going to be done. But with this one, if there is going to be a 6th one, there's got to be a final battle of the Lycan and the vampires in an apocalyptic world where there's only them left, and either they find a way to survive and make Lycan werewolf babies, or someone dies, or just everyone dies, or something happens. I think that should be a final 6th movie if that ever happens, but I really doubt it. But what else did I not like about this movie? Even though the action's generic, everything's done, at least the Lord tries to do something, even though it's a little weird with these cocoons, if you want to put it that way, and putting people in this water, and why this Northern Covenant is kind of like this, and how it's never talked about throughout the other installments, as well as some of the just scenarios you're put into in this movie. You're like, okay, I've seen that in a million times before, and I've seen that in a million times before. As well as each movie does kind of a recap of the 5 movies. And let's be honest, you don't need a recap of all 4 movies before this one over and over and over and over again, because it does that in every single movie. It's like, I think we understand what the storyline is. Werewolves, vampires, Kate Beckinsale, and some characters coming back. But what is good about this movie, like I said, I did like the expansion of the vampire lore and the Lycan lore of doing these different things, of what they did with Michael and what they're trying to do in these scenarios. I do wish some of these movies would have a Lycan hero, or a Lycan person that is more I want to help the vampires, or on the lines of, I kind of want to be neutral. I'm just a werewolf. I didn't mean to be a bit. Now, fucking A, I'm a werewolf, but I'm not part of those little mean G mutts. But I'm not really a vampire-esque, so can I be in the middle neutral, not have a white flag, but be have a beer and watch them fight it out. I do wish they had something like that in this movie, but I do think it's a good idea to expand the lore a little bit more in this movie, as well as to kind of, flush the story out a little bit more. This is not like the 4th one where it's action set piece, 2-minute break, action set piece, 2-minute break. This one is a little bit longer, and like I said, does flush it out, and I do enjoy some of those action set pieces and what they're doing. I will say a weird thing, though. It could be a positive and a negative. The main boss battle, if you want to put it that way, of what they turn into, basically a werewolf with a human face. It's fucking weird, man. It reminds me of a horror movie that's goo goo gaga. It's a monster, but then a human face. You're what the fuck is that? I don't know what to think. And that had the same reaction with this movie. But overall, Underworld Blood Wars, it's the weakest out of the 5, but I do enjoy what it was trying to do with some of the stuff on screen. I was never bored again with this movie. I do think the Underworld franchise as a whole, there's not like a real shit movie where you're like, that's awful CGI. That just doesn't make any sense. There are at least some compelling characters in each one of the installments. So congratulations on doing that. But this kind of ends on a little bit of a whimper, and how it does end, you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I just wish it had a little bit more meaning. So, Underworld Blood War will receive a 2 out of 5 book futons. It goes at 40%. To me, this is more like a 45% 50 movie. It could be a 50% movie, but I'm going with a 40%. It is the weakest one. But like I said, I did enjoy the war, though. I kind of did. So let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. So the critics a 21% with 96 of them, an audience score of 49% with over 10,000. Here's critic consensus. Underworld Blood Wars delivers another round of the stylized violence that the series is known for, but like many fifth franchise installments, offers precious little of interest to the unconverted. I think this actually got a worse review than the fourth one for both critics and audience. But yeah, there's that one. Do you agree with my 40, the 49, or the 21? Chase Sock with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Futopia. You Blue Tonians. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And it feels like it took me forever to get through this 5-film installment. I've been watching a lot of movies and back burner stuff. I'm sorry.